Thank you very much for joining us on the news at 7 on Osrc television. I am Oyewumi Ayenigbara. An Ondo State sitting in Akure has struck out a suit instituted by the Deputy Governor of Ondo State, Latuwa, challenging his impeachment by the State House of Assembly. In its ruling delivered by Justice Akiton Osadebe, the courts declined jurisdiction to avoid conflicting verdicts between Ondo High Court and Abuja Federal High Court. The judge ruled that it was a gross abuse of court process to engage in firm shopping by instituting the same case in Akure and Abuja High Court. It will be recalled that Aida Towa had approached the court in a suit filed on September 25, 2023 to stop the House of Assembly from impeaching him. Meanwhile, Ondo State Deputy Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa has filed an appeal against the ruling of the Akure High Court in respect of the case that he filed to challenge its impeachment proceedings by Ondo. The Ondo State House of Assembly has rejected a letter written by the Deputy Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa claiming that the Chief Judge should not set up a panel by the All Progressives Congress APC, as it was also All Progressives Congress Reconciliation, as only awaiting the ruling of the courts today. They noted that the impeachment is pure legislative proceedings, as Ondo State House of Assembly comprises members from different political parties and not just APC. Emo Damori added that the court fails to renew the ex-parte order for injunction, saying under the Federal High Court rules, the ex-parte order would lapse 14 days after service unless the judge renews it, particularly in the case against the Chief Judge of Ondo State. In Bayelsa State, the All Progressives Congress Humanitarian Campaign Council has reacted to Monday's judgment of a Federal High Court, Abuja, presided over by Justice Donatus Okorowo, which disqualified the APC candidate Timmy Perceiver from the November 11 polls in the state. The council, through the Director, Media and Publicity, Perry Tukwe, reassured the people of Bayelsa of a landslide victory at the polls. It vowed that the party would appeal the judgment as it had briefed its lawyers and expressed confidence that the appellate court would overturn the ruling. Former Managing Director of Nigerian Army Properties, Major General Umar Malam Muhammad, has been sentenced to 7 years imprisonment for forgery, stealing, and theft of millions of US dollars belonging to the Nigerian Army by a special court-martial in Abuja. Pronouncing the sentences, President of the court, Major General James Mam, said the former managing director was found guilty of 14 of 18 count charges preferred against him. He was also ordered to pay back $35,300 US dollars to the army. Mohammed, who was indicted by a military police investigation and recommended for trial, was previously denied bail by the courts because of the large amount of money allegedly stolen by the officer. In credits, including English and mathematics, the number of candidates who registered for the exam was 1,205,888, and the number of candidates who sat for the exams was 1,196,985. There have been reports that federal government was paying subsidies on petrol so as to keep the pump price from skyrocketing beyond the current average of 619 naira per litre. Responding in Abuja, Mele Kyari, the Group Chief Executive Officer of Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, said there was no subsidy whatsoever. Kyari predicted that based on current policy interventions by the federal government, the country could become a key exporter of refined petroleum products from next year. He also said foreign exchange issues have not allowed private companies to import petroleum products, with the National Oil Company presently the sole importer of the product. He blamed the fuel scarcity that has been noticed in some states and Abuja on a mixture of bad roads, competition among marketers, and foreign exchange challenges. You're still watching Osrc News at 7. After the break, we bring you more stories. Please stay with us.
Take it from me, the mind-blowing way to do things is the Glow LTE advanced way. When you stream, it's like you're in the drama itself. When you make calls, You reach where others can't. Coffee! Doing business is like running Wall Street from your street. And when you play,
I did beat you guy.
We'll see about that.
it's like traveling the world without moving an inch.
Is that Toby in your room?
You can download in the blink of an eye in 4K.
Go, go.
And when you go for your dreams, it's like running with the strength of 3 nations behind you.
Glow LTE Advanced, the power of 3 data networks in one. Get a Glow SIM or dial *301#.
www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook at OSRC TV, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel OSRC TV Ondo. When was the last time you visited a post office or even enlist postal services for economic and social transaction? Or do you think technological advancement has eroded the age-long benefit of postal services? On World Post Day, a day was set aside to spotlight post role in everyday activities. In this next report, Osrc Saida Arabisala gauges the awareness of Nigerians on the use of post office and its product, as well as efforts of Nigerian Postal Service to deliver on its mandate.
The art of communication is said to be as old as man itself, as individuals or groups of people have over time developed means and medium of interaction. Long before the emergence of technology-driven communication processes, postal services held sway as a relatively easy and reliable means to send usually letters from one location to another. This resident of Accra, Ondo State capital, recalls the times he has had to use postal services in the 1980s.
Transferring of money. You open an account with post office and then you can collect your money anywhere. So it is not new. Now that we now have all this transfer from this and that, you can collect money. It has started even with the social services. Whether they still do it now, I don't even know. Because I remember when I attended the University of Ibadan, and I was from Accra here, I can collect money in Ibadan. So very, very efficient. Even on postage of letters, you post letter one day, this following day, third day, you receive your letters.
While for some, the consciousness about the operations of outfits like the Nigerian Postal Service may be deficit, commemorating World Post Day every October 9 provides an avenue to raise awareness to the post's role in the everyday lives of people and businesses and its contribution to social and economic development. On this year's commemoration, Osrc sampled the opinion of residents like Mr. Ogundare on their use and understanding of postal services.
I stopped post office because of phone, because I'm using phone.
I'm in Korea, of which I'm sending overseas.
Let me say, in the olden days, when there was no this handset of a thing, that is means of communication then. If you want to communicate to your brothers or your sisters or your relatives, you need to communicate with them through letters. And by so doing, you must have to buy stamp in order to use it to process that letter to get to the destination that you are sending it to. But nowadays that handset is all over. I don't know how often that people are now communicate to each other with letters, and I don't even think that it's happened again. I don't even know the time that I wrote the letter last.
Osrc crew paid a visit to the Nigerian Postal Service headquarters in Ondo State to capture current operations and customers' view on the products and services.
Coming to post office this afternoon is to buy stamp, and I want to use that stamp to process some forms in my working place.
Callers on the premises, including this entrepreneur here to send products to the United States, were cited, among others, receiving or sending parcels or purchasing stamps.
to send something, send snail and kilishi to UX. The one that made the snail, but I bought the kilishi. I used to send this. I'm from Owo. When I went to the post office, they said they cannot send it. And that is why I brought it here, to come and send it.
The state postal manager, Ondo Territory, Mrs. Comfort Adeyemo, said the Postmaster General, Mr. Sunday Adepoju, is committed to continuous enhancement of the Nigerian postal services in line with current trends. Mrs. Adeyemo called on more Nigerians to consider the use of the postal service.
Nigeria is also a member country, and in any country, there's no way we can totally erase the postal services. Even though you are referring to the 70s, the 80s, or whatever. But even in this century, the fact is established that not all things can be conveyed conveniently through technology. There are still some things that you will need your hard copies. There are still some things that you will need to communicate to the world through post office. And that is the awareness that we are bringing.
While technological advancements may hold sway, diverting attention from postal services, this year's theme for World Post Day, Together for Trust, Collaborating for a Safe and Connected Future, further emphasizes the significance of using postal services. Sahid Arabisala, Osrc News.
The announcement of a price crash of cement by Boer Industries at ex-factory price has been generating reactions from the public, especially distributors of the product who commended the new decision. They, however, said it is complicated and difficult accessing the product. Osrc's Joy Pius report that distributors and some consumers said the new price regime is yet to reflect in their sales.
The price of cement has been a matter of concern to the federal government, cement manufacturers and consumers. This concern stems from the perception that Nigeria has enough domestic resources and manufacturing capacity to produce and deliver cement at much lower prices to Nigerians. The concern is also premised on the notion that the Nigerian cement market is receptive to price fixing because of its oligopoly in the sector, with three major actors, Dangote Cement plc, Boer Group, and Lafarge Africa plc holding sway. Recently, the management of Boer Cement announced a crash in price of the product to 3,500 naira ex-factory price from about 5,200 naira per bag, with effect from 2nd of October 2023, so as to spur development in building materials, housing and infrastructure.
The cement is a major component and it's affecting the building industry in no small measure.
Reacting to these developments, some distributors in Akure, the Ondo State capital, said though Boer Cement announced the crash in price, realistically, it will be very difficult to implement as it is not easily available at their doorsteps. Others, including consumers, say the public have not been adequately informed about the price reduction, as there is no place in Akure where the product sells at 3,500 per bag.
3,500 don't allow going on shop price, you know, it's a company price. So and to need there, I be to lose don. And to need there, I be to lose company. So matter 3,500. Kiji pe buy over 3,500 dey no shop. Kiji pe about 3,500 dey shop. So and then low our team because ele got book kò tí wá.
A ti lo Boer Cement rí látàrí pé kò wọ́pọ̀ ní Ondo State, kò kọ́mọ̀ bí Dangote, so ìyẹn ló kí n já kí n rí lò ní gbogbo ìgbà kankan ṣá la máa rí.
The year round, but we never see her like that. It never come down for our own area. Maybe if you don't come down for other states, but as for this they are Akure, so not the same price as we dey buy for one, and so we still dey buy them.
Deplorable roads in Nigeria have been identified as one factor that would determine the actualization of the new price regime. An estate surveyor, Boyega Akirili, who attributed high cost of cement as one major challenge encountered in the building sector, commended the move by Boa management, but noted that the effect is yet to be felt.
No matter what they reduce, whatever the price becomes, is going to be on the short measure. The problem of us in Nigeria is our taste. We have taste for foreign products. It is because we have high demand for cement. That's why we have that high rates in prices. In as much as our people neglected our local way of building, of relying on locally produced materials, so also we'll be continuing to have problems.
Boa Cement is Nigeria's second largest cement company, with an installed capacity of 11 million metric tons per annum. Joy Pius, Osrc News.
Governor Abba Yusuf of Kano State has offered a permanent and pensionable appointment to a casual worker at the State Pilgrims Welfare Board, Dayabo Aladu, who returned missing $16,000 during the last Hajj operation in Saudi Arabia. Yusuf also offered him a gift of 1 million naira, an automatic slot for the forthcoming Hajj. The governor expressed appreciation to the casual worker for displaying self-contentment. He says such character displayed by Dayabo was an excellent behavior worthy of emulation by all and sundry. Governor Yusuf called on the people of Kano to maintain the unearned reputation of the state by showcasing the good virtues of trustworthiness, self-discipline, and contentment so that they could live a happy life. The National Chairman of All Progressives Congress, Dr. Abdullahi Ganduje, has called for enhanced political and economic ties with the Democratic Republic of North Korea. At a rally with the North Korean envoy to Nigeria, John Ton Chol, he maintained that strengthening the relationship between the two countries would be in the best interest of the people. Ganduje singled out party fellowship and leadership recruitment process in the East Asian nation as an area worth emulating. Responding, Ambassador Chol said it was heartwarming to know that Nigeria is now politically stable amid recent challenges. He charged the APC on exchange of delegation, concrete relations, and cooperation. The International Monetary Fund has downgraded Nigeria's economic growth by 0.3% to 2.9% for 2023 following weaker oil and gas production. The IMF disclosed this in its New World Economic Outlook for October themed Navigating Global Divergence. Earlier in July, the lender projected that Nigeria's economy would grow by 3.2% in 2023. It, however, stated that its growth would pick up by 2024 to 4.0% in 2024, which is still below the region's historical average of 4.8%. Nigerians have been urged to always give thanks to God in whatever situation they find themselves. These were the words of Reverend Canon Stephen Obiemi at the 5th year remembrance of late Asiwaju of Akure, Professor Oludari Agbi, at St. Stephen's Cathedral, Akure. Osrc Zimo Ebieme reports that the family of the departed politician donated materials to pupils of his alma mater in the state capital. The report is presented from our studio. The 5th remembrance celebration of the late Asiwaju of Akure Kingdom, Professor Sunday Oludari Agbi, was for one as friends, family members came together to reflect on his deeds. The family of the late Professor Olu Agbi went to their father's primary school, where school bags and other writing materials were given out to the pupils of LA Primary School behind Stadium Road, Akure. The head teacher of the school and one of the pupils appreciated the children for their assistance to the school.
We thank God for the family of late Olu Agbi for their support, for remembrance of their late daddy. They came here to appreciate God in the life of their late father as the old pupil of this school, and they gave a
the pupils' bags and textbook for the members of their daddy, and we really appreciate the family for that.
On behalf of everyone, we appreciate you all.
The deceased children said their father is a lover of school, hence their assistance to his alma mater.
Professor Agbi is one of a kind, a very generous mentor. I pray that his children and all the people he left behind will continue to receive the blessings in Jesus' name.
My father was a great man, lover of education, lover of children, lover of family, and lover of people. And he sacrificed a lot for the people of Akure in general, even Ondo State, and I'll say Nigeria at large. So today, in remembrance of him, we decided to gift the children of his primary school items.
Empathetic person. He always had other people's interests at heart. He loved his hometown, he loved his state, and he loved his country. He was also like my sister said, someone who was very particular about everyone being educated, because he believed that once you're educated, that you can do better in life.
They appealed to other old students to emulate this gesture, as governments cannot do it alone. The event also featured commemorative service held at St. David's Anglican Church, Akure. The Canon Reverend Canon Stephen Oguyemi urged the children and the congregation to emulate the good legacies of their father. The church service also featured thanksgiving in honor of the deceased. The church later went to the cemetery and prayed to God to continue to guide and bless the family of the deceased. And now we move to the foreign scene. Major airlines have suspended flights in and out of Israel after the nation declared war following a massive attack by Hamas. Israel hit more than 1,000 targets in Gaza, and Palestinian militants continue firing barrages of rockets, setting off air raid sirens in Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. Aderonke Kolawole has the detail.
Several international airlines have suspended flights to Tel Aviv following their mass militant attack on Saturday. Carriers said they were waiting for safety conditions to improve before resuming travel. Fighters from the Islamist group Hamas killed hundreds of Israelis and abducted dozens in the attacks, marking the deadliest raid into Israel's territory since the Yom Kippur War 50 years ago. It prompted Israel to retaliate with airstrike against the Palestinian enclave of Gaza, where hundreds have died. US air carrier United Airlines, Delta Airlines, and American Airlines said they had suspended direct flights. The US airlines normally run direct services from major cities like New York and Chicago. United said that after its two scheduled flights to Israel late on Saturday and early Sunday, it has suspended services until conditions allow them to resume. Delta said it cancelled flights into this week. European major Air France and Finland Finnair did the same. Hungary Wizz Air also cancelled flights to and from Tel Aviv until further notice. Britain's EasyJet said it has halted flights with Tel Aviv and would adjust flight timing in the next few years. Asian carriers include Hanias Airlines, Cathay Pacific, and Korea Air have also cancelled some upcoming flights to the Israeli city. Adirunke Kolawole, Osrc News.
And with our reports from the foreign scene, we conclude the news tonight. But before we go, a quick look at the major stories. We told you that an Ondo State High Court sitting in Akure has struck out on this Deputy Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa's impeachment suit. In a ruling, Justice Akiton Osadibe said it was a gross abuse of court process to engage in forum shopping by instituting the same case in Akure and Abuja High Court. A cross-section of cement retailers in Akure, the Ondo State capital, has shunned the new price regime of 3,500 naira announced by BOR. The International Monetary Fund has downgraded Nigeria's economic growth projection, and from the foreign scene we told you that there seems not to be respite in sight as Israel continues to pound Hamas's stronghold in Gaza. And that's the news tonight. Thank you very much for your time. Good evening.